what ladies don't understand is that it's extremely difficult for men to even get a date. Most men are virtually invisible to most women. And you guys are not going to understand this because you guys are women and you have the privilege of men coming up to you. But I'm telling you, it is not as easy as you say. Men must become. Now you're just looking at it from a financial standpoint. No, they have to get in shape. They have to understand female nature. Mindset. They have to dress well. They have to smell, have hygiene, etc. It's becoming a complete package. We're just saying money is a component. And the other thing too is that the reason why I say money is so important is because women make their own money. So women typically want a guy at their level, preferably above them. So sometimes you might not even be able to get a date with a girl, even though you're a suitable candidate, just because of your income level. A lot of girls will disqualify a man simply because he makes less than her. So what I'm saying is that to be the best version of yourself is going to get your money up, be in shape, learn game, etc. It's going to make you the most attractive to the widest demographic of women, so you have the most options. I just want guys to have options. The thing is that women don't understand that men must create their value versus women are born with their value. So no offense, with all due respect, that's why you guys are able to speak the way that you do, because you don't understand the perils of what it takes to be attractive as a man. It comes back to that pizza. Women just enjoy the end product. I know what it tastes like. It tastes good, but you don't understand what it takes to make the pizza.
But there's I don't think it's a good thing to tell a guy that the first thing that he's gonna tell a girl when he starts dating her is that he wants to go fuck other women. I don't think that's gonna work.
That's not the first thing. And in fact, if that is the first thing, you won't get laid and she's not gonna be interested in you. Because of virtue signaling. The girl, is not going to want to date you if she thinks that you think that she's cheap. Even if she wants to be treated as disposable, even if she prefers to be treated as disposable, even if she's always been treated as disposable by every previous guy she's ever been with, she doesn't want you to tell her that. She wants you to imply it.
That's one thing that you guys are advertising of it should be a good thing.
It's to get better so that you are able to get that in a relationship. It's to
we want men to be able to have the ability to dictate that term.
Say that up front.
Are we saying, here's the thing, with nuclear weapons, right? Mutually assured destruction. Couple of first world countries, or a couple countries actually, have nuclear weapons. We're never going to use them, right? What I'm telling guys is you need the ability to use the nuclear weapons if said so. And that happens. That's how you keep peace a lot of the times. If you let your girl know, you don't have to actually enact on the ability to cheat, but you need to let her know that she's replaceable. She's going to behave. She's going to respect you. She's going to treat you better.
She's not. She's going to leave.
Absolutely. No girl wants to be with a guy that has no other options. No girl respects a guy that has no other options. No girl wants to have bedroom fun and show genuine desire to a guy that doesn't have other options. Now, see, listen to the words that come out of this girl's mouth. This is Destiny's wife, by the way. But look at her hands. Do you see how she's constantly fidgeting? She's nervous. She's uncomfortable. Do you know why she's uncomfortable? Because this is an uncomfortable truth she doesn't want to admit, because it doesn't make her as virtuous as she wants to portray herself. Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. Go to my Patreon, support me. It's patreon.com/theheliosblog. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom M. Shout outs to them. Link is in the description. Let's continue.
Leave you and destroy your shit.
Okay, now you might say
that's
that.
what she's gonna do.
You might say that, but
no, she won't.
If you built up emotional,
that works for Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what we do.
Let me just finish my point. If you built up emotional investment, you're an attractive guy, and she can't replace you faster than you can replace her, and you have the leverage in a relationship, trust me, she's not going anywhere.
So, but that's not going to work for someone that makes a normal amount of money, or it has like a it's not going to work.
Indeed.
We're telling men to improve, and ultimately, what I think you need to admit is that it's better for men to hear this rhetoric than to hear yours.
I disagree. I think you guys have already admitted that your rhetoric doesn't work.
But I don't think
when you say
it worked for me. I found the red pill when I was 17, 18, and
Sneako, you're not the average guy. You're attractive. You're tall.
Let me finish the point. Ultimately, you're saying that most men should just settle and not try to improve.
Did I ever say that?
No.
You're saying that you shouldn't ever try to strive to be better.
Did I ever say that?
You're saying that you should just accept where you are, and there are average men shouldn't hear this stuff.
Your guys' first 5 points of advice are actually really this is something where like I wouldn't call myself blue pill, right? I'm like somewhere in between, because I would agree that your guys' 5 advice of like clean your hygiene, like don't smell, start working out, like get a job, like get your shit together, like that's actually really good advice for most men. Like I agree with this. The issue is that'll get them in the door, but that doesn't maintain a long-term relationship. It doesn't.
That's not true. It does. These are the only things that maintain a long-term relationship. Girls try to convince you, be emotionally supportive, be nice, be respectful, be generous, that these things maintain a long-term relationship. But it's not true. What maintains a long-term relationship is dread, the fear of loss, anxiety, knowing she could lose you, arguments, like the man being superior to her. These are the things that maintain a relationship, not the other stuff. The other stuff are things that women try to brainwash you into believing. Also, there is no such thing as an RP woman. No such thing. Because women are favored by the blue pill. So, of course, they're going to give you BP advice. They're never going to give you RP advice. Everything that comes out of their mouth, if you listen to it, it favors them. So why would you listen?
Help him find somebody who can be a partner in his life.
Partner. Red flag. No. Relationships are not partnerships. Relationships are a trade. And ultimately, the man provides more than the girl. And because the man provides more, the man should be treated as though he provides more and respected and appreciated and submitted to.
And regardless of like what we talk about of like hoes and sex and all this stuff, like men are desperate to just.
This is called virtue signaling, you know? Oh, bedroom fun is so bad. It's not important. I don't care about those things. You know, that's what she's implying when, like, obviously it's a lie.
Just be seen and valued and loved. And like I know that sounds like a big fifi thing, but when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about fifis.
No, you're not. Men are talking about bedroom fun and women are talking about fifis.
That's all we're talking about.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're putting it all just on the men, like it's not women.
That's what this show is. Hold on, there's an advice show for men.
No.
Of course it's put on the men.
We're talking about this topic. I'm talking about the show. Because right now, all she's saying is like, oh, men need to do this, men need to do that. What about the women's end? If he's putting up his end of, I'm trying to be high value, I want to be clean, I want to have all this stuff. Okay, you do all that. You get a girl. She's a fucking hoe. And you're like, this is not fucking worth it. I'm gonna fuck a bunch of bitches. Like, immediately.
I agree with you, which is why on the internet people call me pick-me's all the time, because I absolutely am all for like collective women responsibility. I don't think in general women are very like open to hearing things like, hey, as women, these are things we need to improve. There is an implicit bias around women's emotions. Women absolutely see their emotions as more important than men's.
True.
That is a reality. That's a toxic reality. That's something that I would encourage most women, if you want an egalitarian relationship, genuinely, that's something you need to dismantle.
No. Egalitarian relationships do not work. The man needs to be in control. The man needs to be in power. The man needs to be listened to. The man needs to be submitted to. And if you don't have this fundamental dynamic, you need to find a girl that follows the fundamental dynamic, because the man needs to be in charge. Because if the man isn't in charge, the woman is in charge. And if the woman's in charge, she's going to lead you both off a cliff. So no, don't listen to her garbage advice.
So responsibility on women is not something that I am at all afraid of talking about.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The problem is
Women
women don't want an egalitarian relationship.
Yeah,
That's a fallacy. They don't. Women want a superior. They want a man better than them in
people
every
want
facet.
people to communicate with them though. Like I want somebody that's going to communicate with me. I don't want somebody that's going to sit there and just be like, oh, I just only can talk to the bros about
but
that.
that doesn't.
Like,
No. Okay. These are not mutually exclusive things. Okay. So you can totally have a relation. Okay. And here's something that I want to say first. Women only want Chad to communicate. They want their cake and to eat it too. They want the high value man, the man that all other men want to be and women want to be with. They want that man to commit to them, to communicate with them, to show their feelings, to be vulnerable, but to also be strong, but to also be confident, but to also be a multimillionaire, etc. And it's only those guys that women are interested in. It's not other guys.
doesn't make
What do you wait? Can I
That
ask
doesn't
something?
disprove that women don't want an egalitarian relationship.
They
at
don't
all.
I would
want
agree.
one.
Actually, I would say 90% of people are going to fall into a traditional relationship. But as you guys would say, most women after 5 to 6 years get dissatisfied. And I would argue the reason for this is because of this lack of emotional connection. Now, I'm not going to shit on.
No, that's not why. They're not dissatisfied because of a lack of emotional connection after 5 or 6 years. They're dissatisfied because most men don't know how to do relationship management. They don't know how to maintain dread. They don't know how to maintain their bodies. They don't know how to maintain the bedroom fun. They don't know how to maintain fun. They don't know how to maintain excitement. They don't know how to maintain anything. Because most men have never had a girl in their life. They don't understand women's nature. They don't understand what women are attracted to. They don't understand anything. So of course most women get dissatisfied. Because most women get bored. Because these men don't know what they're doing. So the RP helps men with that. That's why women are dissatisfied. Because the men don't know what they're doing, and the women have been encouraged to leave at the first opportunity of dissatisfaction.
On men for the lack of emotional connection. There's a ton of reasons as to why men struggle with this specifically, but women are increasingly reporting that they are dissatisfied with their partners, which is why they're leaving them.
What if he don't?
Yeah, why are the women reporting dissatisfaction? Because it's never the woman's fault. It's always the men's fault. Women are sugar, spice, and everything nice. They can do no wrong. And there you go.
Don't want to put up with all her trauma from her past.
You want to know why? You want to know why? I'll explain to you right now why the women lose attraction. Because here's what happens when guys get monogamous. They get lazy. They get fat. They get complacent. They don't go ahead and achieve as much.
So do
they
women.
Sit there. Well, here's the difference though. Men don't leave women at the same rate women leave men. Women overwhelmingly initiate divorce and breakups. Again, going back to what I was saying. This is why it's so important for you as a man to maintain your attraction. Does that mean you got to actually go out and have sex with other girls? No, but you need to always be able to do it. Now,
that's right. So the point is this. The adage is, in a marriage, you have to be the most physically fit you've ever been. You have to be the strongest you've ever been. You have to be the most confident you've ever been. You have to be the man. You can't just let it go and let it drop and let it slide. Because women are even worse in marriages and long-term relationships than they are as friends with benefits. They're even more picky. They're even more choosy. They're even more judgy. And they get bored even more easily.
If you actually enact on it, whatever, it's up to you. But my thing is, I want men the ability to be able to do it, to put their girl in place. Because women only behave when they can be replaced. I know that sounds misogynistic or terrible, but women need to always feel like they have the best guy. I don't make the rules, I just report them. Women are hypergamous, which means they need the best guy that they can get. The best reminder that they have the best guy that they can get is if he can leave her, not the other.
That's right. The best reminder is she knows that if she steps too far out of line, he will just leave and replace her. Yeah. Oh, this was good. Look at white dress body language next to Destiny. She's trying to be as far away from him as possible, and she's leading towards Sneako. What a surprise. You know? And by the way, even the blue-haired girl's body language towards Destiny isn't good. Here's how I can tell. Look at her left hand and how it's crossed over her right hand. You see how the left hand is crossed so that the left hand is shielding her body away from Destiny, whereas Destiny has an open posture? She is actually leaning away from Destiny and towards the guy to her right. I don't know if you noticed this, but these subtle things are huge, guys.
Other way around. When a man is chasing the girl and he feels happy to have her, he pedestalizes her. What happens?
True.
You pedestalize the girl, she looks down upon you, attraction gone, because women want to date up, they want to fuck up, they want to man.
And look, rational male, this is Rollo, he says, women don't want to marry a man, they want to marry a lifestyle. It's right. And women sleep with up. They sleep with men that are better than them. Taller, stronger, faster, fitter, more friends, better friends, more charismatic, better in every single way than her. That's the guy that she wants to be with. All right. Speaking of Rollo Tomasi, here is a chapter from The Rational Male. It's called Enter White Knight. The following was a timely question by a SoSwa forum member. I just wanted to find out, who do you talk to about aspects of game while you're off this site? I'm talking here about game in the broader sense of the term. So pickup, self-esteem, how to keep a relationship, the roles of men and women in society. My experience with voicing the views advocated in the manosphere in public has nearly always been negative. I have 3 to 4 good male friends who are interested in pickup and they love it. But those friends are the exception. My parents, beta dad and controlling mom think my attitudes towards women is against women. And my opinion of one-night stands is disgusting. Just about everybody I know subscribes to the Disney soulmate view of relationships, and some of my contemporaries, and this guy's 21, are even starting to settle down and get married. God help them. Talking to girls in bed about what they find attractive in a man is interesting, if only to see the extent to which they delude themselves, but ultimately counterproductive since a woman expects a man to know how to express his bedroom fun side. Can we as men ever talk about these things in public? What are your experiences? Before I begin, let me say that I think it's encouraging to see such an insightful question posed by so young a man. From The Matrix. The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we're trying to save. But until we do, these people are still part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they'll fight to protect it. Every random chump within earshot of your conversation about game, about your changed way of seeing intergender relations, about your most objective critical observations of how women are, understand that chump waits every day for an opportunity to correct you in as public a way as he's able to muster. That AFC who's been fed on a steady diet of noble intent, with ambitions of endearing a woman's intimacy through his unique form of chivalry, that guy, he's aching for an opportunity to prove his quality by publicly redressing a villain like you for your chauvinism. Even under the conditions of a relative anonymity, he'll still cling to that want of proving his uniqueness just on the off chance that a woman might read his rebuff and be fatefully attracted to him. This is the bread and butter of the white knight beta. It's best to assume that most guys who pick up on your game vibe, to say nothing of overtly talking about it, are going to side with the feminine imperative by default. For practitioners of beta game, which is the better part of 90% of guys, this is an organic opportunity to identify with women and engage in the same shaming conventions women use, without fear of having it seem contrived. Now this is the mechanics of it, but the rabbit hole goes deeper than that. For the beta game that our noble white knight is so invested into work, he depends on an assumed system. He depends upon reaffirming his assumed understanding of how best to achieve a woman's intimacy. He must reaffirm that presumption by defending it and looking for opportunities to show he adheres to the imperative. His game, his ego-invested identity, is literally dependent on that system. So not only is he defending his game and his ego, he's also defending the social architecture that makes his beta game even possible. You see, when an AFC clings to the mental schemas that make up an AFC mindset, it requires a constant need for affirmation and reinforcement, particularly in light of his glaring lack of verifiable success with women, while clinging to and behaving in accordance with the mindset. AFCs are like crabs in a barrel. Once one gets to the top to climb out, another drags him back in. The AFC needs other AFCs to affirm his blatantly obvious lack of success. He needs other AFCs to tell him, don't worry, just be yourself. Or she's not a quality woman because she can't see how great a guy you are. So when an AFC finally does get a second date and then finally does get laid, it becomes the ultimate validation of his mindset. See, you just have to be a patient, nice guy and the right one really does come along. This is when the self-righteous phase begins and he can begin telling his PUA friends that his game doesn't work, that he's getting some now without all the positive masculinity claptrap. In actuality, he rationalizes away all of the conditions that led up to him getting the girlfriend and the fundamental flaw that he's settling for a woman who'd sleep with him. That doesn't stop him from claiming a moral high ground. His long waiting is over. He's finally hit white knight pay dirt. Okay, back to this video here.
Man superior to themselves. Egalitarian relationships are capped. They don't exist. Women want a superior.
I would say that that's probably true for like 90%. I granted you 90%. There's probably 10% of women and men that both.
But we can't go off the exceptions to the rule.
For
we
sure.
gotta go off the majority of how women operate. Like you're a gross
absolutely.
exception. Like you, for example, virgin, one body count. You're from a rural area. You haven't been poisoned by social media. Come from a strong family.
Raised well.
Raised well. Unfortunately, you are a gross exception to the rule. Most women are not like you. Most women care about how much a guy makes. They care about income. They care about height. They care about how he looks, etc. A lot of women have very high standards on most guys that most guys don't reach. So for you to say, well, we need to change and you shouldn't be looking at a girl as your wall, like that wants you as a wall, blah, blah, blah. That's what should, could, and would, but we got to go what is. Most women are extremely selective and sometimes to their own detriment, which is why we have more single women now than ever before.
Sure.
Indeed. And these girls on social media telling each other, you go queen, you're strong and independent, you can get that Prince Charming and so on and so on and so forth. These lies that women feed each other that buff their ego, so to speak, and make them unable to get a man. These things hurt them. They don't help.
I guess I would ask what you guys think about philosophy, because when we're talking about shoulds, all of philosophy since like I don't know how you guys feel about like Marcus Aurelius or like Aristotle or any of these like guys, but these are like the men that are constantly driving the question of like should, like what should our society
I say fuck
look
should and could and would. I operate on what is. I operate on real philosophy. Not philosophy. I operate on real sophisy. And the reality is, even though I probably butchered that, Women are hypergamous. Women want the best guy that they can get. And
well, if you're talking about philosophy and the big philosophers, many of them talk about like female nature, right? And they talk about like the proper rules. Like just look at Schopenhauer, right? Schopenhauer gets women's nature directly right on the nose. He knew. To marry is to have one's happiness and double one's duties. That's Arthur Schopenhauer, guys. Anyway. Yeah, the comment is funny. Girl in white slowly rolling away from destiny. But there's more. What should a man do? Well, what a man should do is what's best for him. And what's best for him is understanding the truth and operating based on the truth, not operating based on lies. So she's appealing to morality, right? But think about the children, but think about the women, but think about society. Well, here's the thing. Society was built by men, and now society no longer helps men. Society no longer supports men. Society throws most men in the trash. And how long before all men know? Right? How long before the average man knows his exact position? That's the Neo-Renaissance, guys. When the average man understands female nature, that's the Neo-Renaissance. There will be a new wave of law changes and behaviors by men.
And a minority of the men are dealing with a majority of the women. So my thing is, guys got to acclimate to the new marketplace. We don't get virgins from the beginning in a marriage anymore. Those days are done. Women want guys that are way better than them. It's not the 1950s. Like what you're describing would have worked 60, 70, 80 years ago.
Not now.
But not anymore.
It's not all it's cracked up to be. I guess that's what I'm
True.
trying to say. Like, I'm
It
not
isn't.
trying to put myself on the pedestal and like throw other women under the bus. Like I want to tell you, like I'm all these things that you described as the ideal, and I'm gonna tell you that it's not all it's cracked up to be.
But guys aren't going to get that though.
You
is what
can
I'm trying
say
to
that,
You
but
can say that, but that's
people-
still what men want.
Yeah.
Like we could sit here and say a guy that's a millionaire, 6'3", and a good-looking NFL player, that's not ideal, but women still want it. You get what I'm saying?
I can say, for
agree.
example, bad bitches aren't shit.
Sure.
But
Do
I
you
can
still
say
want
that. But do still want to fuck bad bitches? It's like me saying that doesn't mean shit.
They
And-
still want to
and-
get burned by the stove.
This is where I encourage people to like really look at like what you're actually selecting for, because the idea like all women want this, it's like there's a lot of them for sure, especially like
Okay, you can't argue from the exception to the rule. You can't say some girls don't like superior men, therefore you shouldn't learn that. Like, no. You go off of generalities because generalities are the best way to understand the world. That's how we get heuristics, and that's how we get, good rules for life. Ultimately, you can't muddy the waters, right?
man, dating apps is a fucking nightmare for most men.
Nightmare.
But the reality is like there are women who aren't like this, and there are also men who are willing to not engage with women this way. And these
True.
relationships are possible, right? If 200 of your men can become high value men, which is great, if they make tons of money and they can negotiate those relationships and it works for them, that's based. What about the other 21,000?
Well, again, for the top, let's say 1% that are able to achieve what FreshandFit talk about is ideal, they will get the best results. For the men that work towards getting those results, they will just do better in life in general, which is great. But the truth is that once most men understand the rules, then they'll understand the system is rigged and the rules will have to be changed. See, what happened is, originally, before marriage was a system, people noticed, oh, all the girls want to sleep with the best hunter in the village, or the best hunter in the city. Well, we can't be having that, because most of the guys, they're despondent and not doing crap for our city, because they're not getting laid. So we're going to make this rule, it's called marriage, where girls will get with a guy that maybe they're not, maybe they wouldn't want if they had a choice, but they'll have children with, that guy. That guy will work for society and will make it illegal to do the stuff that hurts society from female nature, and it worked. That's how it used to be. So again, what I'm saying is that I believe the pendulum is going to swing. Now, in how many years, who knows, right? Now, Rollo argues, he says that there's no way to go back to the rabbit hole, right? There's no way to put there's no way to put the cat back in the bag, right? Now that it's out, and it'll never go back in. But I actually disagree, because if we look at history, there was a point where it was like this, and it actually did change. So if it changed before, it could change again. All right. We're just going to read a Reddit post here. Posted, 22 days ago. Interesting. Okay. I'm in a relationship with a single mom. She's 27, he's 30, and I regret it. I started this relationship 2 years ago when I was 28. Due to the 1 hour drive, we only see each other on the weekends. She has a son on the weekends, and dad gets a son on the weekends. I only really see him on Sunday nights when he gets dropped. I was always nice to her son. I would play Minecraft and take him out, even went on vacation with her and him a couple of times. But I'm not going to lie, I never loved the idea of dealing with him. Despite my attempts at treating him like my own, he's proven time and time again that he's just a difficult kid to deal with. I want to keep this post short, so I'll spare the details, but the problem is that recently he's been with us every weekend, and I'm starting to get a clearer view into my future with her and his son. I have zero time to myself, there's no bedroom fun, and I find myself hiding in the bathroom just to get a moment's peace. I no longer look forward to my weekends, I actually look forward to Monday, because at least after work I have a few hours to myself for some peace. I'm starting to realize what my future is looking like, and it horrifies me. I tried having a conversation with my girl about it a few times, but it always seems to lead to an argument. It's like I have all the responsibilities of a parent, but none of the authority. I really love my girlfriend, and we have such a good relationship outside of a son, but I think it's time for me to end it. I just feel completely awful about the whole thing, because I knew she was a single mother before I got into this relationship, but I kept ignoring red flags and kept telling myself it would get better. But it hasn't. It just kept getting worse. I feel like I wasted both of our time, and I'm just having trouble letting go. Every time I think about ending it, I get scared that I'll miss it too much, but deep down I know that I have to. Any advice, or anybody that's been through this before? Here's a top comment. 650 upvotes. It's okay to realize that you don't want to be in this boy's life. The sooner you break up with her, the less attachment the son will have to you. That's why it's called dating. 156 upvotes. There's an old saying, the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago, the second best time is right now. While you tried to connect with her son, it just didn't work out. Time to sever ties and wish them both the best so she can find someone who can connect. So, guys, this is why they say don't date a single mom. You have all the responsibility and none of the authority. You're basically a slave. You're a slave to her, and you're the guy who has to pay for her bad decisions. Don't ever put yourself in that position, guys. Okay, we're going to end the video there. Again, if you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all the notifications. Go to my Patreon and subscribe. Patreon.com/theheliosblog. Again, it's patreon.com/theheliosblog. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom M, shout outs to them. Link is in the description. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.